Good morning. Good morning. Welcome or welcome back to Bookeemonsters. My name is PK. It is Wednesday, September 11th, and we are here to look at the new releases being set free this week. On Wednesdays, we look at romance. Every day of the week, we look at a different genre. On Mondays, we look at cozy mysteries. On Tuesdays, we look at mysteries and thrillers, the darker side of mysteries. On Wednesdays, we look at romance. On Thursdays, we look at fantasy and science fiction. Fridays is freeform Fridays. We look at whatever I want to look at. Sometimes usually it's just leftovers from the week because there's always a lot of books being released, which is a good thing for us because we are Bookie Monsters. Quick announcements. I don't have sprints tonight. I don't do them on Wednesday nights. I will have them tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. They go for 2.5 hours. I do them 3 times a week, every Tuesday and Thursday evenings and Saturday afternoons at 3 p.m. Eastern. The ones on Saturday go for 5 hours. But tonight you are free of me. Let us jump into romance. First up is Sunshine and Spice by Aurora Pallet. Naomi Kelly will do anything to make her new brand consulting business a success. When she lands a career-saving contract to rebrand the Mukher, Mukherjee family's failing local bazaar, she knows there can be no mistakes. But as the oops baby of a free-spirited Bengali mother, Naomi's lack of connection to her roots represents everything Jia Mukherjee disdains. Enter Dev Mukherjee. I apologize. I am so probably saying that wrong. Dev knows everything his mother wants, including her wish for him to get married, like yesterday. When Gia hires a matchmaker without, asking him, Dev vows to do whatever it takes to avoid ending up in a cold, loveless marriage. When a potential match assumes Naomi is his girlfriend, the solution to both their problems becomes clear. Naomi will pretend to date Dev in order to sabotage his mother's matchmaking efforts in exchange for lessons in Bengali culture. Flawless plan, right? But as Naomi and Dev bond over awful dancing at Garba, couples cooking classes, and tackling the rebrand as a team, they start to realize while their relationship may be fake, their feelings for each other are starting to become very real. As the line between reality and rumor blurs, Naomi and Dev must confront what it means to fit the mold and decide how much they're willing to risk for love. I apologize, I did not click on the tab. We'll let it hang there for a minute while I get some coffee, because apparently I need coffee. Next up, Casket Case by Lauren Evans. Nora thought she was finished with Rabbittown, Alabama for good, but an unexpected tragedy turned her life upside down. She's found herself back in her tiny hometown running the family casket business. There aren't exactly a lot of prospects for a single woman in her 30s in a place like Rabbittown until Nora Clanton's ordinary casket selling day is interrupted by a handsome stranger wandering into her shop and asking for directions, as well as a date. Garrett Bishop seems like the ideal guy. He's thoughtful, he's kind, and he has a lucrative job as a logistics coordinator for which he seems to have a passion. She's not totally sure what logistics entails, but she knows it means long hours, lots of travel, and urgent calls in the middle of the night. When a few of Rabbittown's residents suddenly pass away, a heart attack here, car crash there, and Garrett is spotted at the scenes of, well, all the deaths, his frustratingly vague job description starts to become increasingly suspicious. What is it that Garrett actually does for a living? He's a logistics coordinator for death. When Nora discovers the truth, she is unable to reconcile the wonderful man she knows with the unthinkably cruel job he loves. Will she ever be able to understand how he can do what he does, or will she have to lay her best chance at love to rest? Well, they say Santa has helpers, so I guess you could have this. And they need love too. How to Hide in Plain Sight by Emma Noyes. On the day she arrives in Canada for her older brother's wedding, Elliot Beck hasn't seen her family in 3 years. Elliot adores her big, wacky, dysfunctional collection of siblings and in laws, but there's a reason she fled to Manhattan and buried herself in her work, and she's not ready to share it with anyone. Not when speaking it aloud could send her back into the never ending cycle of the obsessive compulsive disorder that consumed her for years. Elliot thinks she's prepared to survive the 4 day long wedding extravaganza until she sees her best friend Manuel waiting for her at the marina and looking as handsome as ever. He was the person who, when they met as children, felt like finding the missing half of her soul. The person she tried so hard not to fall in love with, but did anyway. Manuel's presence at the wedding threatens to undo the walls Elliot has built around herself, the fortress that keeps her okay. If she isn't careful, by the end of this wedding, the whole castle might come crumbling down. Katie Robert has a new one, but it's called Illicit Temptations in the Make Me series. Make me yours. What if the one person you shouldn't want is the one you can't resist? Becca Boden gets what she wants, and she wants Aaron Livingston, but only for a quick affair. Weeks later, her coveted freedom starts to disappear thanks to a plus sign on a pregnancy test. Aaron insists she move into his penthouse and commit to a relationship, but Becca demands he give her space without pushing for more. They are total opposites with different jobs, interests, lives, but their chemistry keeps pushing them together, for better or for worse. Make me need. Trish Livingston desperately needs her new job, which means putting up with the world's grumpiest boss, who is also her brother's best friend and business partner, Cameron. Oh man, this is previously published. The way he looks at her is pure disdain, but when he touches her, it's pure fire, etc., etc. Well, dang it, we got one sneaking in. I tried to not do previously published stuff. End of row one. We were a bit light on romance this week. Before We Were Us by Denise Hunter. She can't remember, he can't forget. When Lauren Wentworth wakes up in the hospital after falling from a ladder, she has more questions than answers, way more. She knows where she is, the wilds of New Hampshire, but she apparently lost the last 4 months of her life. Is she really contemplating forfeiting her big city dream job for a position at a rustic resort? And how did her number one nemesis become her adoring boyfriend? Jonah Landry is crushed to learn Lauren has forgotten their entire summer together. Terrified of losing her for good, he determines to help her remember their deep connection as she finishes her obligation to the resort. But soon it becomes apparent Lauren doesn't want to remember falling in love with him or rethinking the entire course of her career. She wants to pretend the summer never happened and move on with her life without him. As Lauren falls back into the steady routines of resort work with Jonah, she's relieved her memories haven't returned and remains resolute about her big city future. But as autumn leads into winter, she begins to see glimpses of the Jonah she's forgotten. Will she be able to resist the steady love of this patient man, or is her heart destined for her own freefall? And for some reason, I do like that cover. And it's kind of a second chance love right away. Now, this is an interesting anti-cover. Good morning, Mary. Happy Wednesday. Late but made it, unlike yesterday when I overslept. That's okay. Sleep is good. And you can always watch it on replay if you do want to see what the releases are. This is called Big Fan by Alexandra Romanoff. Maya was a rising star in the political world until her ex-husband's high-profile sex scandal nearly derailed her career. Landing a gubernatorial candidate is the fresh start she desperately needs, a chance to focus on meaningful work and leave the drama behind. But then an email from her past sends her world spinning. Charlie, former lead singer of Mischief, the boy band that fueled her teenage obsession, is staging a solo comeback and wants Maya's help to make it happen. Turns out she likes the grown-up Charlie and his genuine engagement with the world. Maya's not about to ditch her political ambitions for a teenage crush, but if she can leverage Charlie to draw attention to the policies she cares about, shouldn't she give it a try? Yeah, that's what you should base it on, using him. And it's only 176 pages. Really? I mean, some romances shouldn't go long. I mean, most romances shouldn't go long. Some of those 400 and 500 page romances, like, seriously? But 176 pages, there's a happy medium in here. The Fabric of Our Souls by K.M. Moranova, first in the Hallow Sanctum Interconnected series. Two troubled souls find solace in each other at a rehabilitation facility, etc. I'm 26-year-old and I want to die. So when I wake up at the hospital with my brother weeping over me, I know my life is about to change. What I didn't expect was to get a nurse with cruel eyes and a morbid sense of humor that surpasses my own. I'm even more surprised when I arrive at Harlow Sanctum and realize that my brother selected an unorthodox rehabilitation center that rooms people based on their treatment plan. And my roommate is none other than the man with cruel eyes I met the day prior. I crave death. He craves life. Can two people like us cure each other? It doesn't really indicate whether this I person is a male or female, because if it's a female, I'm questioning why you'd put a male and a female together. So maybe it's a male? I have questions, but not enough to read it. Moving on. The royals upstairs. He's the royal bodyguard. She's the royal nanny. The annoyingly hot attraction that simmers between them, that's a royal pain. James Hunter has made a tactical error. His new role as protection officer to Prince Magnus of Norway was supposed to be an exciting change. Instead, he's marooned on a royal estate in the middle of nowhere, charged with chasing after demon children and dodging the machinations of meddling staff. And the crowning jewel in this little drama, the children's nanny, is none other than Layla Brusset, the woman whose heart he broke, the one who still holds his. When Layla took the job as a nanny for the Norwegian royal children in order to be closer to her ailing grandmother in Oslo, the last thing she expected was to have her life turned upside down again. But as much as James gets on her nerves, he's also getting under her skin, and the tension between them sizzles just as devastatingly as before. As undeniable sparks turn James and Layla's battle royal into a more serious game of hearts, Nanny and bodyguard will have to decide just how much they're willing to risk for a second chance at love. End of row 2. Wondered about that myself. I'm thinking it's male on male, because it just makes no sense in a treatment situation to put a male and a female together. They're trying to be sneaky. Truly Madly Deeply by L.J. Shen, first in Forbidden Love. This little flame just might set them on fire. Conceited, unattainable, and downright delicious, renowned Michelin-starred chef Ambrose Casablancas has one passion in life: food. Women are a distraction, and he doesn't do those, especially Cal Litvin, his baby sister's best friend. Her entire existence is a complication. She's awkward, eccentric, infuriating, and much to his chagrin, hotter than his kitchen. Ambrose has a lot on his plate: a new restaurant to open, a multi-million-dollar property deal to execute, and a violent stalker to tame. Let's throw in puppies or something, my gosh. Then Cal shows up at his doorstep looking for both a job and salvation after their messy goodbye. His resolve, like his patience, is ebbing each day she works at his restaurant, because Cal is no longer a doe-eyed girl. Now she's the woman he'll do anything to conquer. Now, could have chosen a different word there, but they chose conquer. How about to love? Wicked Heat by Jay Kenner, fourth in the Wicked Knights series. From the moment he'd seen her at the home of his billionaire father, a former race car driver and bad boy Ashton Stone craved Bree Bernstein, his half sibling's stunning nanny. He couldn't have her, though, not when his life was so entwined with secrets and scandal. Then he'd seen her at the airport bar. Instead of walking away, he'd bought her a drink, then another. And when a storm grounded their flights, he'd made a mistake and tried to take her to bed. And that's when she bolted. For years, Bree has hidden the truth of those nightmarish days when she'd been held captive, forced into despicable acts that once rescued, she'd believed were in the past, until the tapes. Now she's being blackmailed, and if those tapes go public, it won't be just her life that's in tatters, but that of an innocent child caught in the crossfire. Desperate, she goes to the only man who can help her pay the blackmailer and keep the secret, Ashton Stone. Now her future is in his hands, but the price he demands is one she's not certain she can pay. Her. Yeah, let's put her in a position after all that past trauma that seems like she's had and use her past against her. I tell you. Since we're done a little bit early, we'll jump back into the mysteries, cozy mysteries from Monday. I am getting it done. Plus, there weren't a whole lot. From what I can see, he could come to my house. I'll send him your way. We'll go this way. Oops. There we go. All right, so we're jumping back into cozy mysteries being released this week because there's always a lot of them. Teacups, Tea Roses, and Death, a knick-knack boutique mystery, book number 3 by Constance Barker. When a renowned local tea shop owner dies mysteriously during a special tea tasting event, Lindy Walsh sets out to investigate alongside the handsome sheriff Cody Remington, with whom she becomes romantically involved. As Lindy delves into the case, she uncovers threatening letters warning the victim not to pursue a new tea blend, suggesting personal sabotage. Her snooping soon implicates several suspects, including a jealous rival, an estranged relative, and a well-known critic. Lindy's investigation leads her to track down exotic poisonous plants and analyze the financial disputes underlying the victim's ambitions to expand his tea shop empire. A tangled web of motives and secrets emerges, revealing the complexities of small-town relationships and rivalries. As Lindy pieces together the puzzle, she finds herself in a race against time to uncover the truth before the killer strikes again. I like that cover. Drama in the Bahamas Cruise, 9th in Cruising Through Midlife series. Doop. This is by Addison Moore. The Emerald Queen is headed for paradise, but for one unlucky passenger, smooth sailing is about to take a deadly turn. There's a bachelorette party on board the ship, but amidst the laughter and champagne, something wicked lingers, ready to turn their revelry into a nightmare. Welcome to paradise, where even the brightest smile can hide the darkest intentions, and the promise of a good time leads to murder charges. The party is on. Get ready to have a killer time. If I thought the first half of my life was a bumpy ride, I'd better buckle up, because I'm about to go over the hill and off the rails. Let's throw in some more cliches. My name is Trixie Troublefield, and I live on a cruise ship. My days are filled with exciting shore excursions, nonstop buffets, and ceaseless games of bingo. Can life get any better than this? But then there's that body. Midlife on the high seas is proving to be murder. Oops. A Meowfia Curse. Mafia Curse by Corrine Winters, 7th in the Meow Mafia Mysteries. Dangers on the menu at this diner. Witch and mafioso's daughter, Angie Tosca, is trying to lie low in her not-so-peaceful seaside town. But trouble has a way of finding her, even when she's not looking. But when a young accountant dies in her best friend's diner and throws the business into jeopardy, Angie can't stay on the sidelines, even if her mafia enforcer boyfriend, Mateo, can't help her this time. With her snarky Russian hitman turned feline familiar, Dmitri, Russian hitman turned feline, familiar Dmitri, and limited help from Detective Finn, it's up to Angie to serve up justice. But with so many suspects, can she crack the case before the killer strikes again, or will Angie find herself as a target instead? I have questions, but I'm not going to pursue them. Death in the Mayfair Hotel by Fliss Chester. What a great name. Sixth in the Cressida Fawcett Mysteries. Christmas Eve, 1925. The Honorable Cressida Fawcett is delighted to attend an exclusive ball at London's glamorous Mayfair Hotel. When she steps out into the moonlit courtyard with her little pug Ruby wrapped in her furs, she's thrilled to see a dashing man propose to her best pal under the swirling snowflakes. But instead of squealing, yes, Dottie lets out a terrified scream. Because floating in the fountain, with her long blonde hair rippling in the ice-cold water, is the body of their dear friend, Lady Victoria Beaumont. It's clear the wealthy young beauty was murdered, whacked over the head with a bottle of champagne. Would Victoria's elderly husband, Lord Beaumont, kill his wife over rumors of her younger beau? Or did someone clobber Victoria to prevent her producing an heir for the Beaumont fortune? A snowstorm prevents the authorities from arriving, of course. And just as Cressida searches for clues, she finds herself locked inside a large wicker hamper, as one does. Why does the scent of the hamper's smoky luxury tea remind her of the crime scene? And will a suspiciously rotund Ruby follow her snuffly nose and find Cressida in the nick of time? Trapped in the hotel with a killer lurking among the guests, will Cressida lose someone dear to her heart? And when she finds a clue among the Christmas crackers, can Cressida solve her most mysterious case yet? And that's the end of that row. That is all we have for today. I hope you guys have a good Wednesday. Again, I don't have any sprints tonight. I bet she can. I bet she can too. And hope you're reading good books. Keep today in your hearts and minds. Remember what it was like the day after, rather than the shock and horror of what today is. But as it says here, we'll never forget. And I will hope to see you soon. As the banner says, don't be a bookworm, be a bookie monster. Om nom nom. Have a good day and God bless. God bless America.